The latest NHS data for England shows it's still failing to hit most of its performance targets. Let's take a look at those figures. Just under 70% of A&E patients were seen in 4 hours. That's a very slight improvement, but well off the long-standing 95% target. And the average ambulance response time for Category 2 heart attack and stroke calls was just under 46 minutes. An improvement on last year's figures, but the target is 18. 44,000 A&E patients who needed admission waited more than 12 hours for a bed. Well, our health correspondent Rebecca Barry was invited in to see how staff and patients are coping at the Royal Preston Hospital.
A typical winter's day at Royal Preston Hospital. 900 people are being cared for here, but too many are waiting too long for the treatment they need.
Patient's got abdo pain. He did an ultrasound.
The emergency department is full. Winter pressures plus recent strikes pushing staff and services here to the limit.
They do everything they can to try and keep up with it all.
For consultant Dr. Michael Stewart, the relentless strain is sadly becoming the norm.
It's very easy to get into Stockholm Syndrome, really, with this. By recent standards, we're having a pretty good day. By the standards that we'd like to have the patients coming through the emergency department, it's still pretty pressured and pretty bad. And it's upsetting for myself and the rest of the staff that we're not able to give the gold standard that we want to for our patients.
One patient has been waiting in this emergency department for 60 hours. That's 15 times the 4-hour target. They need a bed on a ward, but the problem is getting patients out of here and into other parts of the hospital for the care they need. Upstairs, every bed on the respiratory ward is taken.
Extremely busy. This 35-bed ward is packed at the moment. So we discharged somebody just an hour ago. And within minutes, we have another patient occupying that bed.
But struggles to get care in the community cause delays discharging people, while winter brings a rise in flu and complications for those with respiratory diseases.
I'm here because I've got asthma.
When Jess caught a cold, she ended up seriously ill.
When I first got in, they said it'd be like a 60-hour wait or something. But because I was quite poorly, they got me a bed quickly.
She works as a nurse at another hospital.
I think you know how busy it is as a nurse and how pressurised it is, but I think it's like eye-opening as a patient.
The hospital has managed to cut wait times for non-urgent surgery. Across England, the waiting list has fallen, but still sits at an enormous 7.6 million. As a surgeon, knowing that patients are waiting, often in pain, suffering, how does that make you feel?
It hurts me. I think it will hurt any human being, especially when you're passionate about making your patients better. But we're trying our best to improve on this.
Ambulance services a patient breathing.
This ambulance control room is receiving 999 calls from across the northwest. Anyone ringing now with a suspected stroke or heart attack is being told they could wait half an hour. Delays often caused by hold-ups in handovers at hospitals.
We absolutely have seen some real extreme pressures. Very small numbers of handovers, potentially getting up to around 10 hours.
10 hours of an ambulance waiting at a hospital for a patient to go inside.
Yeah, exactly. So you can imagine the impact that has on the patient themselves and the impact that has on our crews.
With no let-up in the pressure, plus the threat of more strikes, this winter could get worse still.
Rebecca, is there any good news from these stats?
Yeah, well, let's focus on the numbers that the government wants us to. The waiting list in England for non-urgent treatment, that's for things like knee replacements or hernia operations. That list fell by almost 100,000 in November. The Prime Minister cares because he's made tackling that backlog one of his key pledges. The Health Secretary claims that they were able to bring it down because there were no strikes in November. But the list still sits at an enormous 7.6 million and is 400,000 higher than it was a year ago. Some say that time is running out for the Prime Minister to deliver before a potential general election.
All right, Rebecca, thanks very much.